Our small dining room has gone through a couple of different versions over the past 2 years as our needs as a family has changed. It used to have a more French country farmhouse feel with a formal dining room set. Then it became a sitting room / lounge while we had more family living here during the pandemic. But now we are changing it back to a dining room that will be very different from the French country version. Come along with me as I tackle decorating our small dining room from scratch. So we're essentially starting with a blank canvas, and the first thing we're going to do is bring in the brand new table. We ordered this table online from Wayfair and haven't seen what it looks like in person yet, so we're very eager to get this box open and see what it looks like. This table arrived in 2 big boxes, so we started with the big flat one which had the top in it.
Oh yeah, lots of packaging.
Then we laid the top down upside down on the moving blanket and started removing all of the packaging, which there was a lot of, but it was very well protected during shipping. That pretty finish. Next, we moved on to opening the other box, which had the base for this table, which are just 2 big pedestal legs that have the same whitewashed oak finish as the top. We will link this table for you down in the description if you wanted to check it out yourself. There was even more packaging to get through to finally see these beautiful legs. Oh my god, it's heavy.
That's it.
Look at how nice that is.
Yeah, the solid out. We did a solid out.
It's so nice.
Yeah. Nice play.
Oh my god, it's heavy.
Play like it.
Mom, look at how pretty. Wow, beautiful. I have to say that this table was super easy to put together. So you just take the 2 pedestal legs, and then there's a little notch on each side made for them to just slide into. And then there's this crossbar that slides into place to stabilize them.
Okay, muscles.
It's built.
I think so.
I built it, it's done, we're ready. And then all that was left was just securing the legs to the top with 8 bolts. All right, it's time for the big reveal. Wow, okay. Wow, it is really solid.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so pretty. We truly could not be happier with this table. It has such a beautiful whitewash finish. It is really solid, heavy, and sturdy. We're just all around super impressed with it. So next we're gonna bring in the chairs, which we also got from Wayfair. We've had these for a while. They actually came fully assembled. There was no assembly required with these, which was kind of nice. We just took them out of their box, and we have 8 of them, I think. Next, I worked on putting together a centerpiece. I started with this footed tray that we got at Target and then lined up some of my vintage brass candlestick holders that are all like different staggering sizes to create some different varying heights. It definitely needed a little bit of greenery, so I got this boxwood cutting from our garden and I stuck it in a little bud vase, which is vintage, so that just adds a lot of pretty charm to this whole scene. And I did that same thing on the other side with this little guy. Still left over from when this room was a lounge are these shelves that are on either side of the window, so it is time to style these. I gathered up some decor that my mom wanted me to use to decorate these shelves and put it all in one place so that I could see what I had to work with. As always, I like to start with the biggest things first and then stagger them so that all the weight isn't on one side, and then come in with the smaller and more medium-sized decor to kind of fill in the holes. And that's a pretty easy thing to do since these shelves are a little bit smaller. I made a whole nother YouTube video all about my tips for styling shelves that I will link for you in the description and up in the cards at the end of this video, so you can check that out and see exactly what I do step for step. I'm really happy with how these shelves turned out, especially since I was using decor that was just kind of a leftover that my mom had laying around. But the next thing we want to tackle is to find art to fill up these big blank spaces on the walls. It's still a little bit echoey in here because there isn't anything on the walls, but we are about to change that. It's been a couple of weeks and my mom found some things that she is very excited to get hung up on the wall to finish the space off. First up, for this wall behind me that's a little bit skinnier, we have these two prints that are gonna go side by side. It's actually printed on like a nice little piece of cloth that has a little fringe detail all around, which is really pretty. It brings lots of texture. They're a set of botanicals that have lots of lovely green and blue, and they're kind of like watercolored. So those two are gonna hang side by side. We got these from HomeGoods, so I'm not gonna be able to link these exact ones, but we will try and find ones that are just like it and link those down in the description in case you wanna get something similar like that for your home. I love that they have the really pretty like dark brown frames, so that's gonna go on the wall behind me.
I love that it's so easy to hang artwork like this because you just need a nail in the wall. It doesn't need to be complicated. I honestly just eyeball it.
And then for the main wall above the board and batten, which by the way, you could see us installing this board and batten and how we did that in our other dining room video when we first turned this space into like a lounge living room situation. Now we're turning back to a dining room. But we showed you exactly how we went about doing that board and batten. But we have something really fun to hang above it. So instead of just more framed art, my mom got these really lovely baskets to kind of hang on the wall, and they are meant to. They're designed to be very flat, and they have, you can see it, this little thing at the back here so that you're able to hang it on the wall pretty easily. So there's those two, they're the same thing, just a different size. This one's really big, and this one is a little bit smaller. And those are gonna hang together with this one, which is a little less shallow, but still just as lovely. It also is meant for the wall. It has like something where you can hang it. And this is, yeah, just again, gonna bring so much like texture and warmth to the space. And it's just something a little different than just another mirror or framed artwork, which we already have in here.
These are also lightweight enough to just hang on one single nail, so they were pretty easy to get up on the wall. It was just about figuring out where to hang them. Next, I'm just bringing in this plant stand that actually used to hang out in the same spot when it was the lounge as well. It might be a little bit in the way of that chair, but we'll just move it out of the way when necessary. I also brought in this plant stand across the room just to fill that empty space and bring in some greenery. This mirror used to hang on the other wall where I put those botanical prints earlier, but we moved it over here because we want to put a buffet under it. We found this buffet on Facebook Marketplace just less than 5 minutes from our house. The plan is to sand it down completely to the raw wood and have a bare wood look, and just to clean up the hardware, I think it's gonna look really great. So my dad got started by getting the finish off with his belt sander, which is just like a heavy duty sander that is often used on tabletops just to quickly get through a big surface. And then after he finished with all of that sanding, he went back with the smaller handheld orbital sander from DeWalt just to kind of smooth everything out a little bit more.
Wait until you see how this buffet turned out. It looks gorgeous, and the hardware and everything. Okay, let's bring it in. It is really heavy and very solid. Did I push it too far? Oh no. Just wanna center it basically under the mirror. That looks about good. All right, so now we just have to style it.
I started with this wooden tray that we recently got at a garage sale, and I stuck that in the corner. And then I love decorating with things that you actually use, so I have these brass napkin holders in this little bowl, and I stuck that inside a bowl. Yes, a bowl inside of a bowl. And then I just stuck this little napkin with one of the napkin rings down next to it. And then it's always important to bring in greenery, so I brought in this jar with propagations in it. On the other side, I started with these glasses that I recently thrifted. And this little guy, I don't know technically what this originally would have been used for, but we stick old coasters in it. And then, surprise, surprise, I brought in another plant, but this one is a little bit different since it's got that nice bright neon green color. And then I always finish off with some very important rearranging to get everything just so, and I realized that it needed a little bit of height, so I brought in a book under the plant to just make a little bit more of a differentiation between the rest of the things in the vignette. And that completes our makeover. Now all that's left to do is to see how it all came together.